G'day guys, welcome back. In today's video we're going to have a look at some of the suspension work that's been done to the 100 series and the exhaust as well. I've put a new exhaust on. I'm pretty happy with it, so we'll have a look at that. We'll go over the suspension and yeah, we'll just take a look at see how the car's coming along. So as far as the suspension's concerned, we didn't want to do the suspension first. We kind of wanted to do it like the last thing, but just the way things turned out, it ended up being a bit easier for us just to do the suspension first rather than do it last. But that's all good. So we've essentially taken the do it once, do it right approach. So with that said, we went with Superior remote reth shocks the whole way around. This gives us, the opportunity when we're doing different types of driving, we can adjust the suspension accordingly. We went EFS springs in the rear, 300 kilo constants, which are a bit stiff at the moment, I will admit. But I've got like a fridge and our rear drawers and rear bar and things like that that'll be going in there in the future, which will even it out. And by the time we end up towing as well, we will probably end up putting some airbags in. But for now, they're alright. I've got my work tools in the back, so it's a little stiff, but it's alright. We went the Cal off-road upper control arms as well. We did these obviously to adjust for the lift, to cater for the lift. And yeah, just to help with the geometry of the front end of the vehicle. We went with Dobson heavy duty torsion bars with the Tough Dog strengthening brackets. This combo seemed to be pretty well recommended, and we've still got to put a steel bar on the front and a winch and things like that. So I think that the heavy duty torsion bars will really pay off in the long run. We also have a Superior diff drop kit in it to help bring our CVs back into an agreeable angle. And yeah, there's a few other little things we got done at the same time. So we got new CVs put in, new tie rod ends, new rack ends. We've had a few bits and bobs. We had the snorkel put on at the same time, which I'm pretty stoked with, I will admit. Big Safari Armax. It's not completely fully plumbed in at the moment. Yeah, so it's still got to go back in to get a few other things done to it. We'll obviously get the snorkel plumbed in properly. We've got to do a service on the automatic transmission with a new filter, things like that. So yeah, a few other bits and bobs. We've got braided lines to go on as well. So when it goes back in to get all that stuff done, we'll get the snorkel all plumbed up properly so it can actually be useful. Well, today we got a new exhaust going in, and so far I'd recommend paying someone else to do it, eh? It is a prick of a job. Just getting the old one out anyway. Putting the new one in will be a lot easier. But holy shit. I battled some of these, eh? Yes! We did it. So that's the old dump pipe. It's off. Time to put the new one on. Alright, we're in. Getting it in is actually pretty easy. It's just getting the old fucking thing out, man. That thing's a dog. I just hit the grinder in some spots, hey. I could not be fucked trying to wrestle it. Just hit it with the grinder. Anyways, this is the first boot up, I guess. Should we have a listen? Set this camera up. start it up. A little bit nervous. It's always a bit nerve-wracking when you do something for the first time, I guess. Anyways, here we go. System on the car. We opted for the Berserker pipe as well. I did have the muffler on, and I drove it around like that for a few days just to see how I liked it, and I much preferred the sound with the Berserker pipe. It just sounds so much better. It is you know, like the muffler, look, I should say this, look, the muffler sounded really good, and if I'd never heard the Berserker, I wouldn't have known any better, and honestly I wouldn't have cared, and I would have been happy. But I put the Berserker pipe on first, so I drove around with the Berserker pipe for a few days. Then I put the muffler on for a few days, and the sound of the Berserker is just too good. It's too good. But in the car, you don't really hear it. So, like, even when I'm like accelerating, so right now that's me accelerating just up to the speed limit. You can't really hear it. It's got a nice note to it, but it doesn't drone out, or you know, it's not too loud. On the outside of the car though, it's a bit of a different story. It's quite loud. It's got a nice note. So I'll show you guys what that sort of sounds like. All in all, the car drives really well. Like, man, it is so comfy to drive. Everything feels good. Still got to go in for another wheel alignment. We sort of wanted to wait for everything to settle in. And I've got rack ends to put on as well. They came a little bit later. So we'll put the rack ends on, and it'll undergo like another wheel alignment. And yeah, it should be schmeeking by then. Everything's sort of settled in a bit. I can already see where the witness marks are on the torsion bars. They've already settled, you know, a couple mil out of place. So yeah, it should be good. Look, coming from the 105 to this car, you know, when I was sitting on 100 k's an hour on the 105, it really felt like you were doing 100 kilometers an hour. It felt fine. Like, you felt safe, but you felt it, right? In this thing, it just so comfy, man. It just feels like a normal car. And I guess that's the benefit of going to the IFS over the solid front axle. So, you know, you lose a little bit here, but you gain a little bit there. And we felt as well that like we were gaining in more areas than we were losing. So yeah, overall very, very happy with it. Have yet to do a whole lot of off-roading in it, aside from just some dirt tracks and stuff like that. But I have no doubt anything that I personally want to drive and where I want to take my family, I've got absolutely no doubt that this setup will get me there. No problem. Yeah, so with that said, we're going to start looking at getting some, like a sort of a rear setup going in it. So I'm not too sure what we want to do, but we do want to keep the weight down as much as possible. Like as much as possible, because these things get real close to their GVM quite quickly. And the fridge slide on its own is, you know, I don't know, 60, 70 kilos. throw a set of 60, 70 kilo drawers in, you've got, the weight can just really creep up on you. Yeah, so let us know if you have any ideas what we should do for the rear, how to keep weight down. I'm looking into like a composite setup or an alloy setup. I'm not too sure. I like the idea of like an alloy frame with like composite panels in it, maybe. But we'll see how we go. Alright guys, well that's it for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hopefully in the new year we can get a few more videos of the family actually out and about doing some adventuring and using all this gear that we've sort of spending all this time and effort setting up. So yeah, that's it. Cool. See you next time.